Hello everybody, welcome to Manifesting with me, Lee, where I get to share my manifesting experiences with you in the hopes of helping you manifest what you want, whether it's an SP, whether it's any other desired job, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, but we use the same concept, the law of assumption. And in today's video, guys, it's like a part 2 of how my manifesting my SP journey went. And in the last video I shared the things that made manifesting difficult for me, right, which is the time frame and all the other stuff that I had mentioned. And in today's video I want to share with you the process that led to my SP finally conforming, literally, just surrendering to all my desires, in 1 year basically, but it was actually 8 months. So guys, this whole process took place in 2021. The reason why I'm revisiting this story is to help other people that are just newer, or even break down, giving a detailed breakdown of certain things that happened, the lessons that I've learned, and that maybe incorporating some of the things that I'm learning along the way that I already applied them back then. So it's just that I didn't know what I know now, but I'm just trying to find the connection between my story and what I know now. So so in today's video I'm just going to be looking at sharing with you guys what really changed the game for me and helped me to finally get what I wanted, because I really thought that I was not gonna get my SP. I thought that this was all lies, that you're just wasting our time and you're just not realistic, and then I realized, and the more I read up on the law of assumption and how it works and how manifestation works, is that it's all about you, right? So totally it took 8 months for me. My manifestation process of manifesting my SP took 8 months. 8 months, guys, because my person left around the end of March, and then he finally conformed in November, like the end or somewhere in November. Yeah, the end of November. So it took about 8 months or so, if I'm correct. Yeah, it is 8 months. But the first 3 months were the most tormenting for me emotionally, to be honest with you guys, because that is where I just found out. I did everything from a place of panic. I was just desperate and panicking and anxious. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my person. On top of that, a lot of things were wrong with me. I wasn't the most confident person. I wasn't, especially when it comes to relationships, or even with myself, within myself, I wasn't confident, and I was treating this person like he's the prize and all those kind of things. So obviously when he left, it was a mess. Like I told you, he left, and then he spoke to me 3 weeks later to tell me that, hey, I just settled in. Like, okay. And then after that, the communication was just a mess, because where he was at, what made matters even worse, it's almost like I manifested that. My fear of the fact that he's not going to communicate with me was even, it manifested in the sense that where he was staying, the connectivity was bad. There was literally no connection. I went a couple of times to go visit him. I manifested those, and he visited me twice. I manifested those, but like, I'll bring you to that, So it took 8 months, and within the first 3 months, I was just intentionally, energetically manifesting this person. I tried everything, like I told you. And I think the more I tried these techniques, the more I pushed, the more nothing happened. Okay, I'd get little movement there and there, but even when I did get movement, and when I see him, communicate with me there and there, I'd get so excited, and immediately after that, that feeling will just go away, because I'd automatically go back to my natural state of thinking, I'm not that important to him. He doesn't love me that much. He's probably gonna meet someone else. Like, I would literally surrender to my fears. I will do all these techniques, but they did nothing up here for me. They did nothing for my subconscious mind. I did not know that the story had to change within me. I had to change the story. I was waiting for my SP to change. So I was thinking that fear could somewhat, or me thinking negatively all day could somewhat make him realize his mistake. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was thinking realistically, according to the world, right? According to the 3D, according to my senses, according to what I've always known. So it wasn't up until I learned this one thing, you know, and the game changer for me, really, and I'd call this the game changer, knowing about this, was it a video? I think I watched Sammy Ingram or even Kim Velez. I did listen to somebody talked about, and even the Neville Goddard videos. I watched everything, so I can't really remember. There were so many people that I was watching that I was like, I don't know who's who now, you know, where did I get this? But information is information. Everyone is you pushed out. Everything and everyone is you pushed out. So you have to check what's going on inside of you. What's going on inside of your head? What are the inner conversations that you're having with yourself? Guys, I cannot begin to emphasize how important that was for me. How are you thinking about your SP right now? How are you thinking about the relationship right now? How are you thinking about yourself right now in relation to what you want to see? Does it match? You want this. You want a committed relationship. You want this person to commit to you, but what are your current thoughts? Are your current thoughts aligning with the end result? And when I looked at that, I'm like, oh my gosh, no. So obviously, I had to think, when I looked at my SP, I'm like, nothing I think of my SP is positive. Everything, I'm holding on to my fears about him. Oh, he's probably not that into me. So obviously what happens? He starts behaving in such a way that shows that he's not really into me. Guys, I'm telling you right now. And then what do I think about myself? I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not that pretty. I thought maybe he's forgotten about me. And what did that happen? He started behaving in ways that affirm or that confirm my affirmations about myself towards him. And this relationship, what was my affirmation about our relationship? My go-to affirmation about our relationship, the way that our state of mind concerning my relationship with him is that maybe it won't work. Maybe he doesn't value our relationship or being with me, you know? And what happened? Everything he did showed that he did not value the relationship. Why? Because my state of mind was constantly going over that, rehearsing that each and every single day, you guys. And then I was expecting a beautiful change to happen, but I didn't look to see what am I doing? How am I contributing to this? So everything is you pushed out was one tip that changed my life. Knowing all about that, knowing that I'm the one that's in control, changed everything, guys, for me. It literally changed the game for me, you know. And then mental diet. I heard all these new terms, guys, the law of assumption, the coaches, and the things that I got to learn. It was so amazing. Then I learned about, a mental diet is how you are constantly thinking about things, you know, affirmations that are going on in your head, whether good or bad. You got to keep a strict mental diet. So it was up until then, I made lots and lots of affirmations. Guys, I had like books and books and books that filled, like diaries are under my bed of affirmations. Once I learned about affirmations, guys, that a person can affirm their way to their desires, to their destiny, to whatever it is that they want, man, I went ham. I love writing. I love affirming. I love keeping my mind busy. I've got a very active imagination, but my imagination was sort of like my escape, right? But when it came to my SP, manifesting my SP, I was a little negative. You know, I'd think about things and then I'd cancel it out by returning to the normal state. So now I had to repeat. Once I learned about keeping a strict mental diet by affirming what you want about your SP, about myself, about the relationship, I went ham. But I went ham on affirming for my SP a lot, because I had a shitty mindset about him. Like, honestly, I don't want to lie to you, I did. So everything was about my SP. My SP loves me. My SP is obsessed with me. My SP is crazy. You know, almost it's all about the SP's SP. When you find out that you have to affirm, or you write your affirmations, I would journal. I would repeat them to myself. I would do them for 7 days. I did the affirmations challenge, and let me tell you, I started feeling better. Guys. Things started to improve. How I felt about my SP was starting to change gradually, right? But there was something still that was just a little bit difficult for me to let go of, and that was looking for signs. Like I'm like, is it working? There's always movement happening. I didn't really quite believe that yet, because I'm like, but it's quiet. It was so quiet, guys, up until July. It was quite up until July, towards the end of July. Now remember, it was April, May, June, July, the 4th month. And I had been affirming for about a month or 2 or 3 now, with these stuff that I now know of manifesting and the law of assumption. Then he's like, oh, when are you coming? Come and visit me. And I went to visit him once. Right, and I went to visit him once, and then we spent time together. But then quickly after that, I think my fears, I was still not like, okay, he wants to see me. And as soon as I got back here, again, my mind would spiral, and then things would just go back to the way that they used to be, because I was already affirming that he's just gonna do it now, and then he's gonna go back to being himself again. So guess what, it happened, because that's how powerful I am. And then this everything is you pushed out kept on, coming back. Like, if I could affirm something negative, and then it manifests just like that, because I just affirm without resistance, I just affirmed it and it just happened, then that explains why I should change my mind. So if I affirm something positive long enough for my mind to grasp it and make it a thing, then I might be able to get my desire. So I started training my mind. But then I got frustrated again. Sometime after the visit, it was ghosting again. And then I think around August, was it September? After that visit, and after he visited me, and I kept on, I remember affirming that my SP is always visiting me, is always visiting me, is always visiting me. And then he had to come this side to visit me, and but he also had to do an errand here. So there were a bridge of incidents. The circumstances brought him this side, and we ended up spending the weekend together. All right, cool. Then after that, he left. So things are always great. When he's here, things would be bad. So we saw each other twice in the midst of all of that. And then I got sick and tired of it. I'm like, but why isn't this thing lasting? I've been affirming for this for so long, but it's not lasting. The results are not sticking around. That's when I went deep into self-concept. So it's everything is you pushed out, keeping a strong mental diet so far. A mental diet about my SP, affirming on the loop, making sure that whatever's going on here is within you. It's for your favor. It's for the favor of your relationship and for the favor of your SP. So I think around August, I was like, you know what? This has been going on for too long now. I was just being a spoiled sport, because people have been doing this for years, okay? And I've been thinking about negative things for like over decades, 2 decades. So 4 months of trying to learn something new or of affirming, suddenly I feel like I'm giving up. Oh, please, I was just being spoiled. But anyway, then there was self-concept. Self-concept, guys, let me tell you, it was the ultimate cherry on top that helped me to manifest my SP. It literally brought him, and that's why we're still together now. Like, now we've been together for like 2 years now. Because the final thing that I did, self-concept. When I learned about the self-concept method, I was like, no way, I'm not going to do this. All that self-concept does is just put you at the position of importance, You just put yourself there. Because what's the point of manifesting your SP and then you're going to idolize your SP and then you're going to treat him like the prize, and then you are just like still feeling low about yourself. And I was like, no, I've been making this about this guy for too long. So it's time for me to just flip the script and just make things about me, and also put myself there so that I can be, because you attract what you almost, right? So if I am all love and I am irresistible naturally to myself, then he's going to find me irresistible. I got to work on my confidence. There's a lot that I cannot manifest someone and neglect my well-being. I cannot manifest a perfect relationship with someone and then neglect me, the most important person in this whole thing. I'm the one that's making this shit happen, and then I am neglecting me. So as hard as it was, and as much as I didn't want to deviate from focusing on my SP, I had to do it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the plunge. So I remember was it September? I think the whole of September, after that August visitation between me and him, and then I saw that still we would visit each other, we'd see each other, but then still things would go back to dryness again. I'm like, no way. I'm like, I'm done focusing on this guy. I love him and the universe knows that, and I've put it out there and he is mine and I love him, and I just made final lasting what do they call it, affirmations about him. Just like, okay, cool, we've affirmed for him enough, it's already there, it's already done, let me focus on myself. So I got so fed up, guys. I was fed up. I was just not having it anymore. I was sick and tired of neglecting myself. So I then went on a self-concept for about a month. So it was 21 days, sorry, and then I continued. So it was an entire month of September, where I was like, no matter what happens, no matter how much my mind wants to think about that guy, every time I think about him, I'm going to affirm for myself. I'm going to make it about me and only me. Like, I'm going to affirm anything that I would affirm for him. I'm going to flip it and I'm going to affirm for myself. So I did that, and like for the whole month, I stopped literally affirming for this guy. I stopped affirming for the relationship. I have stopped affirming for him. I just started making it all about me. I started affirming for me, about me. Everything was all about me, right? And everything else that concerns me, my finances, my family, my work, and me as a person, I affirm for other things that concerned me directly. So I remember one of my favorite, like, I made a list of affirmations that I would do on a day. Like, I made like hundreds and hundreds of affirmations that I would do in a day. As long as they were about me, I was fine. So it wasn't easy because there was a lot of things, and there was a lot of times I was so used to thinking about this guy. I was like, no way. Every time he came to mind, I would be like, oh, instead of saying my SP loves me so much, I'm like, oh, I love myself so much. I'm such a lovable person. And every time I would be tempted to say stuff like my SP misses me so much, it's crazy about me. I'm like, oh my goodness, everyone is crazy about me. Everyone is obsessed with me. I'm so easy to love. I'm so beautiful. I'm so confident. I feel more comfortable in my own skin every day. I was just showering myself with all the love. I took myself out. I spoiled myself. I focused on me. I gave my attention to my friends. Everything that made me happy. Anything that showed me that I love myself. I showered myself with a lot of gifts and a lot of love. I manifested money, a whole lot of money that year. I remember that year of manifesting for my husband, when I suddenly stopped. It was the same time I manifested 100 grand from my workplace. When I stopped, it was during those months when I was focusing on myself. That same month, I think the following month after that, then I just received cash injections like that up to 100K. By focusing on me and literally intentionally focusing on myself. I think I was angry, and then I let go. And then I'm like, I was angry at myself for neglecting myself, and then the self-concept was the ultimate game changer for me. I manifested a spot in a pageant. I was a finalist in a national pageant. I was, for this, it was like a philanthropy pageant type of situation. Money, jobs, everything was just going great. I was telling myself I'm irresistible, unforgettable, irreplaceable. It was all about me. I'm all about me. And I said, I'm all about me, and everyone is all about me. I'm all about me, and they're all about me. I remember I used to like that. I used to hype myself up for the entire month. And it was quiet. There's nothing was happening from where my SP is concerned. So after that, then I just started seeing changes. Everywhere I went, I was accepted. Everybody wanted to be there. I got lots of love offers. Of course, I just turned down and everything. I allowed myself to live, basically. That's what I'm telling you. So by hyping myself up each and every single day, like after the second week of doing self-concept affirmations, guys, my confidence levels were skyrocketing. I'm telling you. All of a sudden, I felt like, I'm okay now. Like nothing in me wanted the guy anymore. Like, just by focusing on me, nothing in me wanted that anymore. I'm like, no, I'm okay. I don't. So when I would go to bed and think about him, I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I don't think I want this anymore. I think I'm fine. I'm cool. Like, I don't need this. Sorry, guys. I need to drink some water. I am dehydrated. So, guys, self-concept, the one that I was dreading the most out of all of these things, I started assuming for me. I started focusing on me. Started putting myself first. Guess what happened? Guys. Okay, then, about a month, like I remember the whole of September, I was affirming. I was doing the self-concept thing. for something that I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I focus on myself from the beginning? Like, why did I? But of course, everything is a journey now. Then I went back to in October. I'm like, nah, let me just do self-concept. Let me go back to affirming for him a little bit, Then I remember just saying, I'm so glad my SP's finally moved back to this city. That's all I would say. Like, he's finally moved back. I see him every day. Like, affirmations that implied that he has moved back here. That we are now together in the same town and we see each other every day. I'm so glad that me and my SP see each other every day. I'm so glad that we work in the same place. I'm so glad that he's finally moved back here. 3 things. Like, I think about anything that, an affirmation that implied he has moved back here. Guess what, guys? The end of October, he said, he asked me to come to that side and see him. So I went over to see him. I was like, oh, okay. And then we met, and then we spent I was there for a day. And then he just told me that, you know what, guess what? I'm like, what? It's like, I spoke to my boss that side, and I am my plans, my moving process is in motion. I'm like, what? You moving back? It's like, yeah, I'm coming back. In December I'll be there. So the moving process is already taking place. I'm just wrapping things up here, office here. I'm sick and tired of this place. I remember actually affirming that. I was affirming that my SP is sick and tired of that place. And then it's like, I can't take it anymore. It's like a godforsaken place. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, yeah. So I was just so happy. Deep down in my heart, I'm like, that's great. But I remember not having any. And he was just like so attached to me. Like, at that time, he just like that's. I'm like, okay, I'm glad. And but I had no attachments to him. Guys, self-concept is the ultimate game changer. And realizing that everyone is you pushed out is so important, because then you are able to, like, if everyone is you pushed out, if I'm insecure, they're gonna treat you and they're gonna give you all the reasons to be insecure. Right? And being on a strict mental diet is very important about your desire. Do you get it? So whatever happens, no matter how triggered you are, make sure that you don't ever speak against your manifestation. In November, guys, I started getting all this cash, like money was just flowing. Remember, at that time, I have been manifesting for money for about a month. Remember, I was focusing on myself. So now money was just flowing in. 50Ks, 40Ks, 30Ks. I was just flowing. Girl was just manifesting money left, right, and center. Woo! It was great, right? And in the midst of that, I was so happy, focusing on my family. I'm like, I'm going to spoil my family. I want to go home. My mind was completely on the money and my family and doing other things. And in the midst of all of that, while I was so obsessed with my life and my family and my job and figuring out how these blessings are just like hitting me left, right, and center, then boom, my SP's like, I'm coming back. Started calling me the whole of November. He called me every single day. He started, checking in on me, calling me 3 times a day, video calling every single day. I'm like, what's going on with you? Then he's like, but I've always been in love with you. You've always been, my heart has always belonged to you. Huh? And I remembered my affirmations. I would affirm like, I'm the only woman in his heart. He's finally realized that I'm the one for him. Now all of these things were happening when my heart was not so attached to them. All of this stuff were just flowing, hitting me at every direction. Because I started focusing, I affirmed, and then I turned the other way to focus on me. And then all of a sudden, everything started happening. Guys, ever since that day, I had the best November Christmas season, like, of my life. And I remember now, it's like 2 years, because now it's November. I remember, like, 2 years ago in November, things was just changing for the better, and they were stable, and it was happening forever. And it was just, I'm like, permanently, this is how it's going to be. So, up until today, I still have my SP. And I keep on, and I know that when I want something from my relationship with my SP, all I have to do is focus on it, affirm for it. But the most important thing for me to remember about this whole thing is that I am the most important person. I am the most important person in this game. All right. So everybody's you pushed out. Keep a strong mental diet, and most importantly, self-concept is number one. Keep yourself at number one. Don't put your desire above yourself. Don't put your SP above yourself. Don't put anything or anyone. You come first. Make sure that you are obsessing about yourself more than your desire. Then your desire has no choice but to be obsessed with you. Okay? The energy that you give to yourself is the energy that everybody's gonna give. But if you give your energy to someone else, they're gonna keep giving themselves the energy. Energetically, don't even be obsessed about them. All right. So guys, that was my story. That is how everything changed for me, and that's how my SP confirmed. That's how I managed to get my SP even up until today. And if it can happen to me, it can happen for you. But remember, guys, do not put anyone above you. That is the ultimate game changer. There were 3 things that I shared, but the ultimate one is self-concept for me. Okay, guys? Love you so much. Thank you for lending me your ears. And don't forget, guys, you can still get some mentoring sessions with me if you feel like this is too much. You need a little bit of tips. You want me to share some affirmation tips with you. Come about, you know, send me an email and check the mentoring sessions information in the description box below. Love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.